Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 117 of the alexeisaylepodcast. Just me and the T-Man this week, the Talal Teapot.
Yo.
With my crew. And so, I suppose we should concentrate on current affairs. I just what a joyous day it was Friday, really. I was doing some filming. I had to get up early, and I got the driver to put on Radio 4 Today program when it started at 6 a.m., and it was just joyful to listen to the news of the
Greens election.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I quickly caught it on the TV just before I left, and it was a wonderful day, really. And on the way back, I listened to the 5 p.m. show on Radio 4 again in the car going back, and it's just, by then they're starting to give various excuses, but it's it feels highly significant, really. That
wait, by 5 p.m. they started to what?
Well, they were kind of, getting in their excuses, and there was more, more centrist pundits being wheeled out to, say various crap. But it really it hints at that. I mean, you can thank your party in a way that I sort of feel like your party awakened this consciousness amongst people. The launch of your party and the 800,000 who registered, their interest, and then then that dissolved into kind of infighting, and people were left looking for a home, and the Greens were there to offer that. And I think there's it's really potentially seismic, I think, because it also shows that the people will unite to keep out reform, and they will now unite around the Greens rather than the stinking Labour Party. So, I don't, there's a long way to go yet, but and I'm always reluctant to make predictions, but it feels really significant. I mean, I hope to God that the Labour Party is finished, but it was just a joyful day. And then, of course, Saturday, back to less than zero, really. I mean, but it's been apparent. I mean, in terms of the issue that concerns us the most, which is, well, because it's a moral bellwether, this issue of Israel. I think it seemed for a long time that the destruction of the apartheid state of Israel is not going to come via military means, or that those military forces that opposed Israel, first of all, the secular forces, the Popular Fronts for the Liberation and all that, and then the Islamist forces have been, are in retreat or being defeated. Really, that the destruction of Israel as an apartheid state is going to come from us. Really, it's going to come from the West, and a green government in Britain would go a long way. I mean, and obviously, support for the Zionist state is also collapsing in the United States. It's difficult to see how that can find. I mean, a majority now, I think, nearly a majority of people in the United States are supportive of the Palestinians and oppose Israel, and that's a stunning change. Now, how they find expression for those views, seen as, our politics is obviously to a degree bought and paid for by Israel lobby, but that is much more the case with the Democrat Party in the United States. So I don't know how people find expression for that. I mean, Zora Mandami shows that it can be done, but you really need to somehow remove. I mean, I'm not an expert on US politics, but you clearly need to remove those dinosaurs of people like Chuck Schumer Nancy Pelosi and all those terrible, terrible people. I do notice that in The Guardian today, it said that Gavin Newsom, the governor of California and somebody who is, running to be the presidential candidate for the Democrats, actually referred to Israel as an apartheid state, which is quite a, I think it's slightly caveated, but it's quite a statement coming from a kind of centrist Democrat.
Isn't that a leap from what his usual stance is?
Massive, yeah. And I don't know whether he'd try and walk that back or not. But it is. It seems significant, really. And I mean, if
yes, he likened Israel to an apartheid state while he's promoting his memoir.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart because the current leadership in Israel is walking us down that path where I don't think you have a choice about that consideration when thinking about the military partnership with Israel. He said that. To say this in America's interest at a time when affordability is at crisis level, you have an administration that literally got elected saying this is exactly opposite of what they would ever consider doing. It's true because Trump, bloody promoted himself as the peacetime president.
I don't know whether he's doing it because, his Israeli backers, Miriam Adels, and the people who've given him hundreds of $millions are demanding that he go along with the. I don't know. I can't really speak to Trump's motivation, whether he just. I mean, but it is clear that Israel is winning that is winning militarily, but one can see that in its greatest moment of triumph, maybe also be its greatest moment of defeat, really. I think I imagine the average person is appalled by the, torpedoing the warship in international waters, for instance. The destruction of the expansionist aims in southern Lebanon and the bombing of Tehran, really, is that all really, leads, any right-minded person to be, even if they're not politically engaged, is just repelled by these actions. And
I wonder,
we can only maybe hope that in that I'd say that moment of greatest triumph is also their moment of greatest defeat.
But isn't it historically that wartime is what makes people just kind of support whoever's in charge or like rally behind their government?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think this is exceptional. I know Linda said there was an article in Haaretz yesterday saying that the young people in Israel are even more right-wing and reactionary and, ethno-fascist than the older generation, if that is possible. And that is a dispiriting, but it's a deliberate policy, obviously, of the right of Netanyahu to keep Israel in a state of permanent war and therefore to ensure support for them, really. I think it's less true in the United States because it isn't as all, that, I don't know. I mean, that, militarism is the United States is not at risk. The United States is doing this out of choice, and it's a long way away. And I think people don't feel that. But polls show that people have not. The fact that Israel, the United States is bombing Iran has not led to an upsurge of patriotism. In fact, it's led to the reverse, really.
It feels more like a Vietnam than a Iraq this time. Yeah. They don't have like this 9/11 to hang their reasoning on.
And they're also, as Gavin Newsom points out, really, that they're also, this every $500,000 missile is money that's coming out of their health budget, out of their, life expectancy is plummeting in the United States. I think the average Chinese person now lives 20 years longer than the average person in the US. The infrastructure, I imagine, as people tell me, I haven't been there for years, but People tell me you see a lot of really crumbling infrastructure. And again, this is all money that is being spent to aid Israel in its apartheid, ethnic cleansing ambitions. There's millions and millions of dollars, billions, trillions of dollars being expended, money that is clearly coming out of social care and infrastructure in the United States to bolster the aims of this insane ethno-fascist state in the Middle East. And I think that again, the neutral or the right-thinking person in the United States would see this really and really want to do something about it. So it's
at the beginning, I was hearing a lot of people saying that this was all just a distraction from the Epstein, malarkey.
Yeah.
How much of that do you think is actually
I
behind
don't.
it?
I don't know. I mean, it's possible. I think I don't know how much trouble he's in with that. He certainly he just kind of denies it and sidesteps it. I don't know. I mean, it's certainly a possibility that this is all being done, or is partly being done to divert from
Maybe
Epstein.
partly, yeah.
Yeah.
It seems a lot more thought out now that you consider that, they secured the Venezuelan oil in time to start this war in the Middle East. Do you think maybe they were even thinking about it from back then? I wonder.
Sometimes an easy win, like the West had an easy win in Kosovo and against the Serbs, and then in Liberia, and that led them into the morale, thinking that they would have an easy win in Iraq, which turned out, in a sense, not to be the case. So I honestly don't know enough about U.S. politics.
My instinct says everything, all roads lead to Israel, really, because Iran was the last kind of anti-Israel stronghold in the Middle East. All the other Arab countries had kowtowed and
yes, they've
paid their tithes and done their deals with Israel, normalized relations, and Iran were the only one. But what I hate seeing is this kind of rallying behind the Islamic Republic as if they're some heroes, and as if Hezbollah are these heroes. And
I know. I mean, we should remind ourselves that, of course, when the Islamic the revolution in 1979 was achieved in association with the substantial communist and socialist forces in Iran, and then once the Shah had been deposed, Khomeini then turned on the left and either murdered, imprisoned, or drove into exile those forces, and instead brought in obviously a hardline theocratic regime. So we shouldn't be. Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, I understand the impulse in a way. I'm not,
Well, Palestine is such an issue that drives that people's passion drives them behind supporting Palestine, and sometimes they're blindsided. They just see anyone supporting Palestine and think they're automatically a good guy. And really, in this situation, none of the players are good guys apart from the civilians on the ground who are the ones getting bombed. So it's a really tricky one.
Yeah, the obviously the Islamic theocracy and the Revolutionary Guard Corps and the besieged militia, they're not good people. They are people who have been oppressed in their own.
Yeah.
It's just, but I do understand that impulse to want to.
Of course.
Because you see anybody who opposes the United States and opposes Israel, and you kind of want to, you feel sympathetic towards them. But yes, it's certainly, blanket support for.
Just think more carefully before you throw all your support behind someone. You can oppose, it's more than one thing can be true, This war is unjust and this war is illegal, and Trump and Israel aren't acting on the behalf of humanity in starting this war. They've got their own fucking interests, but the Iranian Khomeini should not be the leader, and it's But now he's just been replaced by his identical son, which is quite weird to see how copy paste he seems. Like they're not good guys either. And and you know what really fucking winds me up is that when you can't help after these 2.5 years we've been through, when you see those bombs falling in Tel Aviv, a part of you is kind of like fist pumping the air.
Yes.
And then I just catch myself in that brief moment where I feel kind of passion, like I'm happy to see a place being bombed.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, look what they've made me. Like, I'm so angry at them for making me enjoy the sight of this. Like, how fucking far have they pushed me? Where I'd never in my life feel like the sight of a bomb hitting a city is something to celebrate or be happy about. And even if a fraction of me is celebrating the sight of it, it's a horrible feeling.
Look what they've turned us into. I know it's true.
How dare they make me celebrate that?
Yeah.
But their cruelty, I hope that the cruelty of Israel doesn't get forgotten in all of this over the last 2 years.
No, well, they kind of seem triumphant, but like I say, we'll see. Really, I don't know where this ends. It's interesting developments. Supposedly that the Israelis and the United States are organizing a kind of an incursion by the Kurds in the north, I think.
Oh yes, from Iraq, coming in from Iraq.
Yeah, I think the Kurds are obviously aware that what a two-faced ally that Rojava will have shown them that the United States is not necessarily an ally, that it's a very capricious ally and will drop them. In fact, George W. Bush in Iraq urged the Kurds and the Marsh Arabs to rise up, and then they were then slaughtered by the forces of Saddam Hussein. So I'm sure the Kurds understand that. I don't know which brand of Kurdish fighters it is who are being encouraged to attack. I don't know whether it's our guys in the PKK or whether it's some more right-wing Kurdish factions. Maybe an expert can. So we know many experts of geopolitics. That this podcast is their first listening on a Saturday morning. The Chatham House and the various, the CIA, the intelligence services, and that they eagerly download our podcast and analyze it for the insights that it brings. And so, if one of those wants to, even anonymously, contact us with further information about that, we would be delighted to hear it.
Well, they seem to be perhaps the Democratic Party of Iranian Kurdistan.
Right.
Between 25 and 35 million Kurds inhabit a mountainous region straddling the borders of Turkey, Iraq, Syria, Iran, and Armenia. That's a lot more than I thought.
Yeah.
And in just today, Iran has been intensifying attacks on the region. But so
there's a kind of there's a mind fuck there where you support in that scenario really that obviously the Kurds are being used as a tool of US and Israeli imperialism, but on the other hand,
but they have a reason to be so bitter and vengeful because they've suffered decades of discrimination and repression. The Kurds have been wanting independence for a long
everybody. Yes, not just from Iran. I don't know how they were treated in Iran, but obviously from Turkey and.
So I wonder, Trump maybe promised them their own little state.
I wonder whether they're followers of Öcalan, in which case we would support them, or whether there's some more centrist or right wing Kurdish fighters Again, anybody, I know that this podcast is eagerly downloaded on a Saturday morning in all the major capitals of the world and in all the revolutionary bases that the people in Rojava on a Saturday morning gather around their laptops to listen. And in the free areas of Myanmar on a Saturday morning, it's obligatory, really,
on their
to listen
wind-up
to this
radios.
podcast. Yes, that's one of the things. I felt a bit guilty there. I was just reaching for something. I was reprimanded by a listener. I was trying. You and Anthony and Nick were just talking serious. I just wanted to inject a piece of stupidity into the discourse there. So I had that bit about the wind-up radio in my mind, and it didn't really work. And I apologize, yes, to the memory of Sir Trevor Bayliss. I'm sure that you could listen to it over the clockwork didn't really make a noise. And it was just an entirely maladroit intervention on my part.
To over-explain. That's the listener taking a bit too seriously.
I feel, I want to walk it back, really. I'm sure the clockwork radio was a...
Yes, he was saying actually the clockwork radio liberated the accessibility for world media for a lot of.
Maybe you could have a clockwork laptop. I don't know how technically.
I remember around a similar time.
Yeah.
There was an equivalent thing for a laptop. I think Bill Gates pioneered, and I could be wrong there. Maybe it wasn't Bill Gates, but there was this kind of like really cheap laptop that like did the fucking job, and they made millions of them and gave them to school kids all around Africa.
Right. That wasn't like the Raspberry, that one, was it?
No, it was just a nice little plastic thing with a screen. Raspberry, I think, doesn't have a screen. That's just the computer bit inside, that you can attach to stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it was the laptop equivalent of the wind-up radio, but obviously you had to plug it in.
Yeah.
I think it had a chargeable battery in it.
Right. Well, I'd be interested to know what's happened to that. I know that this podcast is on a Saturday morning. The major technical institutions, MIT in the United States, Boston, that on a Saturday morning people gather around and download this podcast. It's the first thing they do on a Saturday morning. Even with the time difference. And so if anybody there in the Science Institute in Moscow or Beijing who listen to this podcast, first thing they do on a Saturday morning, if they want to get in touch and let us know what the state of play is with the wind-up clockwork laptop, I'd be eager to know. And like a clockwork radio, I have now wound down. That got me through about 15 minutes, a bit more. And I'm kind of like a clockwork soldier in a ballet, the Bolshoi ballet.
I've just found maybe it wasn't Bill Gates. I just found an article of Bill Gates saying the laptop for the poor is a joke, and he was mocking the $100 laptop.
Really? Yeah.
One laptop per child foundation. The $100 laptop is the iconic EXO laptop, founded by Nicholas Negroponte of the MIT Media Lab in 2005, designed for education in developing nations. It was a rugged, low-power device intended for children. Yeah, it's got a simple black and white screen. You could do all your homework on it. And it was rugged, like you could throw it at a rock and it would survive.
Right.
Yeah, one laptop per child.
Bill Gates probably sabotaged it. Didn't he?
Bill Gates hated it. He was roasting it. What an asshole.
Yeah, well, yeah. You get no argument from me about that. Yeah. Bill Gates. Bloody Bill Gates.
Oh my God. Guess what?
What?
There was a second generation prototype and it had a crank on it.
It was clockwork.
But it proved unviable.
Yeah.
Wow. One laptop per child.
Well, Bill Gates didn't want that. He just wanted his intellectual property So anyway, that's the world situation. Have we covered that, or we could go back? I say it was very exciting. The Greens and Zach Polanski and now Jeremy.
Yeah, they were very quick to blame the Greens' victory on like sectarianism and even race stuff. Like, what were they? It seems so long ago now.
Family voting.
Family voting, yes, pushing your grandma into the booth and saying, "Vote Greens, you motherfucker, or else no tuna sandwich for you later."
Sly and the Family Stone voting.
Yeah. And like husbands, oppressive Muslim husbands, forcing their wives under indentured servitude, these arranged marriage wives, forcing them to vote for Greens.
Yeah. It didn't really stick. I mean, that's one of the, it's like, you know, the accusations of, you know, they try and stick Zach Polanski with the old anti-Semitism accusations that they made against Jeremy, and they really don't stick at all. I think everybody's wise to that.
Yeah, and of course the police said that's called voter fraud. 2 people aren't allowed in a booth. If that's ever seen, it's reported to the police.
Yeah.
We didn't see any of that happen.
No.
Yeah, it's funny. And a gay Jewish man is now the leader of the Islamist Sharia population. You know?
I think it is shaping up to be an interesting landscape because, I mean, there is not only the Greens, there is also whatever now your party is, you know, I mean, we'll see what happens with that, whether it, you know. But I think that whole surge, you know, from the launch of your party is also that there are really interesting experiments in kind of local. I mean, obviously, I know London more that in Hackney, the Hackney Independent Socialists, and here in Camden with Andrew Feinstein and the Camden People's Alliance. That these are really interesting experiments in you know, finding a kind of politics which is rooted in the local community. And I know these were proto branches of your party, but I think they have decided to stay away from that and just be local parties. And in doing that, whether consciously or unconsciously, they seem to be, you know, echoing a lot of the ideas of Öcalan and of Murray Bookchin and this kind of localized kind of hyper democracy, you know. And I think there's a really, you know, in tandem with the Greens, I think there can be some really exciting.
They could really work together very well. I think your party is, you know, as a member, and I see what the emails I get and what the forums and the website say. It's like almost like their attention has gone away from winning elections, and it's more about the local issues. And
who are we talking about now?
Your party.
Oh, right.
They seem to be sating their election bug by holding all these internal elections. Like I voted for different leaders of different factions and councils and boards and all that. So you're voting for all these different people, but it's actually just internal your party elections.
Yeah.
And they seem to be focusing on just getting councillors out there, organising, doing local events and setting up local groups and activism. And then in the Gorton and Denton election, they fucking said, go vote for Greens. And they told us to go vote for Greens. So like, do they even want to win an election now? I'm not sure.
Well, I think there are areas, I imagine, where they are strong, or, you know, areas where they prove to be strong.
And then they'll stand in those areas.
And they'll stand and the Greens will.
And, you know, Reform are so clever at making you scared of them and think they're serious. But now I'm like, every time there's a big Reform protest or march, or it's just the same 20 blokes from different parts of the country. You know, they got thrashed pretty heartily.
There's such an odious character there, Matthew Goodwin. Ugh.
Yeah, he's gross. And so maybe their support isn't as widespread as we thought. Maybe I'm being optimistic. They gather and meet, but they're coming from different constituencies and meeting up and putting on a strong face. But in their own places, people don't want them running their neighborhood.
No, well, I think that, I mean, they are strong, but the anti-reform coalition is stronger. And as long as it coalesces around the Greens or independent socialists rather than the stinking Labour Party, then, that's a really positive development, I think. Very exciting, and from that, I was good. Both in terms of domestic issues, but also obviously in terms of Palestine, that is the way that Israel will be, the apartheid Zionist state of Israel will be ended, it will come, since it's a creation of the West, it's a European, European solution to a European problem. It will be its demise is more likely, I think, to come from the West than from military, either from those corrupted, in their several different ways, the corrupted regimes in the Middle East. I don't know, but yeah.
I saw a funny meme of some like Reform or Britain First people on a cliff top with binoculars looking at a migrant boat, small boat. And he says, "Oh, it looks like it's some refugees from Dubai." And then he looks through the binoculars and it's just a bunch of like bikini models.
Yeah.
On the boat.
That has been a sort of, Schadenfreude and all that, but there's all those fucking influencers, and the right way, Isabel Oakeshots and that, who all moved to Dubai.
They're like, what? This shouldn't be happening here, or something I heard her saying.
Yeah.
Fuck
you.
Where did you think you were going?
Yeah.
It's not just a place on your phone screen. It's a Gulf state.
It's a Gulf state that actually has slavery as part of its
slavery and supports Israel and
economic system. So yes, that has been taking.
Here's what I will say though about Dubai and Abu Dhabi. It's also been the refuge for a lot of refugees.
Yeah,
including a lot of my family have found a home and built their families.
Yeah,
and they become part of the middle class in those areas.
Yeah,
it tends to be the expats, immigrants who, the white immigrants who go and get the upper class jobs.
Yeah,
the property, the finance, and they don't pay taxes and they fucking live a life of absolute luxury. Whereas my cousins and aunties and uncles and second cousins and fucking third cousins, I've got a ridiculous family, and they're all the ones out there.
You've got all my cousins, haven't you? Because you've got like 63 cousins, and I've got any.
68.
Well, I have, but I don't know who the hell they are.
Yeah, I've got 68 first cousins. Yeah.
68 first cousins.
They're all doing like the admin jobs.
Yeah.
Data inputting, teachers, managers of shops. That's what my cousins out there are doing. So there is a middle class out there, or even a working class, for sure. And a lot of them were refugees from Syria, from Lebanon. And I worry for them, because there is some domestic buildings being struck out there. In fact, I have cousins who are just in London and they live in Dubai. So they went home, and they're from Lebanon. So they went home via Lebanon to visit their family. And then they're about to fly home to Dubai. And then this war starts, and Dubai starts getting bombed, and all the flights get cancelled. So, and I was messaging going, I hope you're okay, because I thought they were in Dubai. I hope you guys are all right.
We're fine and safe. We're in the Lebanon.
Yeah, they said, don't worry about us. We're in Beirut. We're staying in Beirut for a while. I was like, okay.
We're in the southern suburbs of Beirut.
And then the next day, they are.
Really?
They were near the bombs. Like, they were at the end of their street.
Fuck.
The next day I see this and I'm like, fuck, they just told me, don't worry, I'm in Lebanon. And next thing I know, they're on a flight back to London. Like, I think when people come back, hang out in London for a bit. So, there are as much catharsism as you're getting from seeing, deserving countries being struck finally, who thought they were immune to this stuff. There are always with war. There's civilians
Yeah.
caught in the middle, man, and their lives are
Victims.
being thrown upside down.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I agree. We haven't done a film club for a while, have we? We sort of let that drop. Nobody seemed that upset, really.
No one seemed upset.
Maybe we should think about reviving that.
Well, we have got a new series on our Patreon called Alexei Reacts.
Oh, yeah, that's what we did, yeah.
That's on there now, episode 1 of Alexei Reacts, which I realized was our pilot episode.
Yeah.
It's on our Patreon, and it's Alexei reacting to Puppet Pilot for our pilot episode, a sketch from the all new
Alexei show, yeah.
And it's a very, very funny sketch.
Yeah.
And Alexei and me watch it.
Yeah.
And react.
If that doesn't make you want to become a Patreon subscriber, I don't know what will, really.
It's really nice. It's like 15 minutes long. And we're going to do it every week, hopefully. Well, that's the plan. Please send us your suggestions of what Alexei should react to, alexeisaylepodcast@gmail.com, or message me on patreon.com/alexeisaylepodcast. And if you go to patreon.com/alexeisaylepodcast, you can support the show and gain access to exclusive content such as Alexei Reacts and full video podcast episodes, Alexei shooting guns. And
feels like a long time ago.
Alexei, Lisa, and Nigel watching the young ones. But Alexei reacts every week on Patreon.
I'm going to have to do that this week.
Yeah, but we don't have to do it today. I know you've got to rush off after this. We could do it on Monday or Tuesday.
Lunch with the...
Let's record one on Tuesday.
All right.
I'm going to try and put them out every Wednesday on the Patreon.
Okay.
What should Alexei react to next? Thank you for the plug time. And what did that remind me of? I'd love to hear Alexei's views on whether he thinks there will be a united Ireland. Toby asks on the Patreon chat.
I would have thought so. Eventually. I don't know. It's still... I don't know. My knowledge of Irish politics is lamentably... Ireland seems to be... comes and goes, but, it's obviously reacting better than Britain to Zionism and US imperialism. And I don't know what the factors in play are there.
I think, is religion still a very strong divider in Israel and Ireland?
I guess that's true.
Is it enough to what? Yeah, I guess there's a contingency in Northern Ireland who love being British, isn't there?
Well, there's a loyalists, the Protestants, yeah. And also, of course, the fanatical supporters of Israel.
Oh.
If you go around the loyalist areas of, if you go around the Republican areas of Belfast, you'll see, Palestinian flag. And similarly in the loyalist areas, you'll see the Israeli flag.
Sometimes on two sides of the same street, isn't it?
Yeah. Which is, again, I think the loyalists are on the losing side on that one, really. It was funny doing Strangers on a Train in Ireland, in Northern Ireland, really. We went from Belfast to Derry/London Derry. And, kind of had to be aware of a lot of people seem to have government jobs. Some of them are, I think, in security, the people I mentioned, that you couldn't really talk in detail about what they did. But also, you're aware that some of them had loyalist sympathies. It wasn't my remit on that particular show to dig into that, really. But, it was a weird experience.
Avi or Avel or Avi on the Patreon asks, this is a shallow question, but I'll ask it all the same. Has Alexei done an episode, or would he consider doing an episode on comic strip The Strike? My son Sid and me watch it every year together, quote the arse off of it far too often, and it's in their top 5 things to watch ever. Favorite character is Alexei in it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
one of the most sublime pieces of comedy acting. Maybe we'll do an Alexei reacts about it.
Sure, yeah. Well, Peter Richardson, the moving spirit behind the comic strip, he does these events where he shows like things like the strike and stuff, and then we talk about it afterwards, really. In fact, I'm doing, I think, a little clump of 4 in Bridport, Dartmouth, Salcombe, and Walthamstow, I think, in, I don't know when, April or May. And so people should come along to those.
Avi, if you're in one of those areas,
come along and listen. I don't know whether he'll be showing. Peter particularly likes one that was only shown on TV once called Red Nose of Courage, which is actually a very good. It's about John Major, the former Conservative leader, Prime Minister, whose father was in the circus, and so it's a kind of strike style fantasy where I play John Major is working both as a clown and as the leader of the Conservative government, and I play his father.
Right.
I take my top off a few times. I was thinner then.
Oh my God.
He sometimes shows that, sometimes shows strike, sometimes shows Supergrass. But yeah, I'd be happy to do I'm happy to talk. I always feel, because I feel that I think it must be dispiriting if you're some sort of 80s band and your only outlet is that kind of rewind circuit where you play your hits to people who are now getting close to being pensioners and balding men who wear funny little hats to hide their baldness. But I feel that because I am also, still an artist whose current work, like this podcast, which is listened to on a Saturday morning in all the capitals of the world, really.
Yeah, illegally
First thing they listen to in the embassies and the foreign ministries is this. So I feel that because I don't mind doing nostalgia stuff, because I also feel that I'm somebody who remains relevant. So in the modern world, and
hey man, Martin Kemp's makes his bread and butter these days DJing 80s parties to
really,
to like old ladies in Benidorm. It's nothing, no shame, man.
Well, I think some shame, but
have you heard? When a person has a one-hit wonder?
Yeah.
For example, Rick Astley or yourself or what's I am the one and only geezer called Hawk.
Chesney
Hawks. There's like this cycle that seems to be unanimous amongst them, is where you blow up, your song blows up, you become famous, you tour, your song is everything, it's everywhere, it's making you lots of money, and then nothing else you do seems to hit in the same way and resonate with people. You start to resent that song or that hit or that TV show or whatever, you start to resent it. You get angry. You start doing shows refusing to sing it, where that's what everyone is coming to see.
The new material,
and you start getting angry with people who ask you to play it or sing it or do it, and then you get shunned and rejected. You feel bitter until the day comes when you realize, wait a second, I've bought this house, I've sent my kids to a nice school, university, I've got a nice car, and it is because of that song. And you start to appreciate once again that song that brought you all this comfort in your life. And then you spend, that's the point where you spend the rest of your life going on tour, singing that song as many times as people want, with a brand new appreciation for it.
Yes.
Where are you on that side? No, you're not a one hit.
Well, I see. I'm not.
But there must be something relatable there with the comic strip stuff and the young ones' questions and all that.
I mean, I'm happy to take part in those events. Yeah.
What was the strike about?
The strike, I mean, it's particularly brilliant. I mean, it won the Golden Rose. It won a lot of awards that year, and it is I mean, certainly it's the peak of the comic strip as an ensemble on TV. So I play a scriptwriter who's from South Wales, who writes a script about the miners' strike of 1984. The script is then bought by, and there's a lot of parodies there of like characters who are now forgotten, like David Putnam, and Keith plays a kind of David Putnam character. So that script is then bought by Hollywood, and the film is then remade with starring Al Pacino, played by Peter, Meryl Streep, played by Jennifer, as a kind of, and it's about the crassness of Hollywood. It's about so it works on several different levels. So you've got the story in the real world, as it were, of me as the scriptwriter. And one of the things I do in that film is that I underplay that everybody else is going so big with, quite rightly, with their characterizations, that I pulled my performance back. So it's for me, a very quiet, centered performance as Paul, the writer. And so you've got the Paul's reality of writing this script for Al Pacino, and then you've got the movie itself, which is this huge, lavish, kind of sentimental, starring Arthur Scargill, played by Al Pacino. So it kind of ends with Paul disillusionedly going back to South Wales and throwing his typewriter, as it was then, up in the air, in disgust. So it's a film that works on. It's a really it's a really excellent piece, and we're all in it. Everybody's in it, really, which I think is nice as well.
But you're taking a central kind of lead role in this.
Yeah, for once. Yeah. I'm the kind of spine. I'm the core. I mean, as the writer of the film, The Strike, I'm the core of it. But kind of everybody's in it. Everybody else plays multiple roles. I only play Paul, the writer. But I mean, as I say, the whole gang are there. Rick, Dawn, Jennifer. I mean, everybody.
Al Pacino, so it was, as Peter Richardson, as Al Pacino, as Arthur Scargill.
Yeah.
So many, like, multi-layered and film within a film.
And it's very, it was nice. I mean, it was fun filming it again because the whole gang was involved,
Maybe I'll put together a highlight reel and we can do an Alexei reacts to the strike. Sure. I see a video as well of Eddie Izzard talking about it with Peter.
All right.
Peter. The BFI.
Nobody told me about that.
It was back in 2023. But there you go, Avi. There's a bit of strike for you, and at some point, keep an eye out on Alexei Reacts. We'll talk about the strike some more. Okay. About 10 minutes ago, I said, oh shit, and I never followed up with that. Confusing listeners at home. They've remade The Bride, Alexei.
I don't think it's really a straight remake of my night, whenever it was. What year was it? Me and Sting and Jennifer Beals. I don't think is it a remake of it was based on a novel by, I think it was based on a novel by somebody or other.
Well, yours was in 1985.
85, okay.
Which I still haven't seen. I want to watch it with you.
Oh, yeah, well, we could.
I think I want to do a commentary track with you about it.
Yeah, sure. It is quite poor.
We could watch it together and then, okay, so The Bride 2026 is an American Gothic romance film written and directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. Yeah. You're kidding me.
Yeah, we like her.
I really like her. Why do you like her?
I don't know. I feel like she's one of us, but I might be mistaken about that.
She gives off that vibe, doesn't she? I think she's wonderful. And she's written and directed this, starring Jessie Buckley and Christian Bale.
I don't know how much. Yeah. I don't know if it has any.
That's what I'm trying to get to. The film draws inspiration from The 1935 film Bride of
The
Frankenstein,
James Whale film, yeah.
which is based on Mary Shelley's 1818 novel Frankenstein. So no mention of, what's the book
Frank
yours?
Rodman. I don't know if there was a book. I can't remember now. Or the 1985 movie with Sting and Jennifer Beal.
And it's set in 1930s Chicago.
Okay.
Frankenstein's monster asks Dr. Euphronius to create a companion for him. Together, they give life to a murdered woman known as the Bride, sparking romance, police interest, and radical social change. I want to see what was the name of your character in the circus?
Oh, Magar. I'm sure he doesn't reappear because there's a separate storyline about the Frankenstein's monster, the male monster, escaping and joining a circus. I don't think that. I doubt that they will have pursued that storyline in.
And you say Omega?
No, Magar.
Magar.
Magar, I think.
I'm not seeing any Magars. It seems to be they get involved with the mob, the Chicago mob, in this, as opposed to the circus.
Yeah, no, I think it probably owes very little to the.
That's a shame.
Frank Rodham iteration of the Bride.
Oh, I'm going to keep an eye on this Bride business.
Yeah.
Because they might owe you money, Lex, and I want to make sure you get it.
Probably. Everybody does. Everybody owes me money.
Okay.
Oh, I think I'm going to go now unless we've got anything else for this week.
No, I think that'll do, mate. I think that'll do.
Okay. Well, it's been quite a week. It's been a bloody roller coaster week of emotion and elation followed by despair, really. Just, what have they done now, really?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the genocide in Gaza is continuing. I think they've stopped. They're not letting any food get in.
Oh, yeah. Immediately they closed those crossings.
Monsters. Unbelievable monsters.
Yeah. And those schoolgirls were the first victims in Iran.
Yeah.
What a way to start, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're getting good at killing children now, the Israelis. But at least a lot of people are seeing the true reality of that murderous, monstrous regime. So, take hope where you can, people. Cling to each other. Maybe have some fruit. Kimchi for gut health. It's amazing how people can, take something, some humans' abilities, and be a dick about it, which is sort of like Lime bikes.
Yeah.
As a lifelong cyclist, the Lime bike user can be, it's kind of problematic, really. It's the way some people behave on Lime bikes. Also, I think it seems like twice this week I have stopped at a zebra crossing for an old person to cross in front of me, and they've still shouted at me because I think they're so frightened now because of bikes whizzing past them and not stopping that they just sort of yell at anybody. And I stopped. I'm like, I fucking stopped for you. Why are you shouting at me? And coming down from Hampstead Heath last week, going south down, I think it's Highgate West Hill. A woman who I stopped for, a woman on stick shouted at me, "You're an old man. You should know better."
Jeez.
Which is, I've stopped fighting. I haven't run you down. I've stopped. What are you yelling at me for?
Maybe she was talking about something else.
No, she was shouting at me.
No, I know it was at you, but maybe she knows something.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. But that sort of that ranks alongside Santa Claus faced old motherfucker as a thing I've been shouting. You're an old man and you should know better. Sounds like Michael Caine, doesn't it? You're an old man and you should know better. You're a big man, but you're
Old
out of
man.
shape. I do this for a living.
You're an old man.
You're an old man,
You should,
and you
know,
should
better.
know better. So that's going to be my calling card. Now that's going to be my nom de guerre, as it were, on my parties, 80s parties, 80s nostalgia parties catered for. I'll come and do in the tight suit and go, "Hello, John, got a new motor." And my epithet will be, "I'm an old man and I should know better." So with that, I will say goodbye, dear listeners across the world. And I'll see you, this Saturday morning and next Saturday morning and every Saturday morning, unless we can't be bothered. Bye-bye. You've been listening to the alexeisaylepodcast. This show is produced and edited by Talal Karkouti. Music by Tarbush Records. Thanks to Audio Boom for hosting us. Please keep your emails coming in at alexeisaylepodcast@gmail.com. Goodbye.